my friend, and welcome back. My name is Hannah, and today I'm going to be doing another tag. But if you're curious about what I'm wearing on my face, what I mentioned in today's video, and what I'm doing in other pockets of the internet, I always have links in the description box down below. But I was actually tagged by Dub's Beauty Diary to participate in this tag, and she also loves tags as much as I do, so it's also been really fun to see her recreating some of the tags that I've done in the past. I don't know if she's on a no buy, but she's definitely on a low buy, and she's been a content creator that I've come across that I've really been enjoying. So if you're interested in the no buy, low buy kind of content, go check out her channel. She does a lot of the Project Pan kind of challenges as well. So if you're interested in Project Pan content as well, go check her out. But this was the palette tag created by Lisa Lobotomy. Am I saying that right? It's Lobotomy? Lobotomy? No. Yes? No. I'm sorry for butchering your name, Miss Lisa. But it's 11 questions, so let's get started. And question number 1 is the brand you have the most palettes from. I think I have the most palettes from Kaleidos. Let me double check. Yes, I have most of the Kaleidos palettes. I think the only one I'm missing is the Lunar Luster palette, which was our first palette ever released. It kind of haunts my dreams. And some of the Futurism palettes, and I think the Escape Pod palette. I think those are the only ones that I'm missing. I think I'm also missing 2 of the quads, but I pretty much have everything else, including the Club Nebula palette. The brand you have the least palettes from, minimum 3. And I think for me that brand is actually going to be ABH. I have the Norvina palette, and I have the Subculture palette, and I have the Mini Soft Glam 2 palette, but I don't have a whole lot of other stuff from them. I do have the one Makeup Revolution Matrix palette, but I think, I don't know, I'm never really interested in actually purchasing the Makeup Revolution, so I think in terms of like brands that I like the stuff that I have from them, I just don't have a whole lot from them, that would be ABH. The brand you wish you had more from. I enjoy my Odin's Eye palettes. Even with Unearthly Cosmetics, like I don't know, I have like a weird relationship with them, only because there have been some palettes that I've used that I really love the color story, but the quality, like I couldn't get it to really work in the way that I like palettes to work for me personally. And then the things that have like the greater formula are color stories that I'm not quite interested in. So we're never like on the same page at the same time, but they do have really, like, it's a brand that is always talked about, and when I see people use their products, they do very beautiful looks. So I wish I had more from Unearthly Cosmetics, like more that I enjoyed, but I'm also not going out of my way to like force those puzzle pieces to fit. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. What I do have from the brand, I really do truly enjoy. The brand with the best color story. I think Kaleidos really has a way with color story. I love the kind of weird tones that they'll go with, and like the like formulas of the tones that they choose. They have these really pretty like shimmery metallic and like duochrome formulas, but their mattes are also some of my favorite, if not my favorite, matte formulas of all time. They're very, very pretty. Even in their quads, their quad color stories are very, very cute. I think the one that really sticks out to me though the most is the Flower Punk palette. Like just the minty green with the pink and those like swampy greens. It's just really gorgeous. I think it's Kaleidos. I think Kaleidos has a really good eye for color. A second to that would be Odin's Eye. They're really trying. I love the inspirations that they pull from and how they put those color stories together. yeah, Klados and Odin's Eye, like the indie brands really can pull those color stories together. On the more mainstream brands, well, even like an indie brand like Melt, I feel like their color stories are just kind of like, here's some similar tones, like maybe one's lighter, one's more of a mid-tone, and one's like a deeper tone, but like they're all kind of very similar in that way. And I think ColourPop, even as of late, has been kind of like doing some cool color stories, and just kind of like stepping out of like their usual comfort zone with like maybe just having the one pop of color. They're giving us a few different like pastels or like different tones with their neutral tones. So yeah, I think that's how I would answer that question. Question number 5, the palette you always wanted but never bought. The Natasha Denona Circo Loco palette. I don't even know if it's available anymore. Probably not. I would have that cart, or I would have that palette in and out of my cart on multiple websites, on the Natasha Denona website, on Sephora, even some of the weird like UK sites that ship to the US. I think I'm thinking of like Beautylish. I think just anywhere, any online e-commerce that sells Natasha Denona. I had that palette in that cart. And I never bought it, and like I'm kind of sad about it, but then I realized that like I really just more so want the palette case than like the shades in it. Although the shades are really pretty and I like it, it's just I think what really caught my eye about that palette is the palette case, like the packaging. Oh, and I guess another one to that as well would also be the Lunar Luster palette from Klados. Like, I could have bought that a few times before it finally like sold out and it was unavailable. And then I still see resellers trying to sell it for like $200, and I cry. And I cry and I weep because I'm like, why? Why? The next question number 7. A series you want with palettes and from which brand? There's a few that I have. So I know Game Beauty is really focused around games, and they just came out with the Persona collab. And I know that it's a lot harder to get your hands on like game IPs, especially with something like Nintendo, because they're super protective over their characters. But like, I don't know, I think I would love to see an actual cyberpunk collab with Game Beauty, or just even like Lethal Cosmetics, just a really well-known indie brand, even like Klados can do this as well. Just a brand that maybe has like some like, I don't know, some blood in the game, if you will, in terms of like very vivid pops of colors, and doing really neat, interesting color stories with neat and interesting formulas that would be interested in the like cyberpunk aesthetic. Because even if it wasn't cyberpunk the game, even if it was just edge runners, I think that would be such a cool like, take Lucy's orange and her eyeliner, and then David's like yellow coat with like that pop of green that he has, like that neon green text that's on the back. Like, that would be a really cool palette to have, and I would want it to be the cyberpunk IP like collaboration. And even with like the tarot cards, like my phone case is always one of the tarot cards from the game, and I just feel like pulling those colors together would be so interesting. And because Klados is one of those brands that's really like into that kind of like cyberpunk aesthetic, I think it would be a perfect collaboration effort with them. But also it would make sense that someone like Game Beauty would also get their hands on it. And with CD Projekt Red kind of doing collabs with, I mean, like, look, The Witcher is on Netflix. They also had that animated short like movie before season 2 of The Witcher came out, which is very much CD Projekt Red, and obviously Edge Runners as well. Like, and Geralt is now in Fortnite. I think CD Projekt Red is gonna try to recover as much as it can. But the thing with CD Projekt Red as well, they don't have a lot of merchandise for their IPs anyway. Like, Geralt has like a samurai nendroid, but he doesn't really have too many figures, and the figures that he does have are like those really like kind of ugly like statues where I'm like, ew, you want how much money? And it's painted like this. But so I don't know. I would like to see a cyberpunk going full circles. I would like to see a cyberpunk collab. And I think another one that I think would be really cute to see, and like this might be a reach, but maybe this is something that ColourPop is trying to work on. ColourPop did a Sailor Moon collection. Can we get a card captor Sakura collection? I just think doing a card captor, like imagine the palettes, like a little cheek palette, and it looks like the card. Like how cute would that be? And if they keep the same kind of packaging, you know, with that the like little animated thing that they have on the Sailor Moon palette, but it's like Sakura and she's like, you know, kind of changing in her outfit. Like, look, ColourPop, I have some anime collaboration ideas. Let me know. I'll give them to you. As long as you send me the PR, I guess that would be a fair trade, right? I don't know. So I guess cyberpunk and like anime collabs, I think that would be really fun. And I think there's a lot of like different brands, like indie brands specifically, that I think would do really great with having their hands on the cyberpunk IP. And I think ColourPop should be doing more anime collabs. I think that's what we're gonna see this year, hopefully. Question number 8, a palette you want to love but don't. And I think that's my Natasha Denona pastel palette. With how vivid and opaque the mattes and shimmers are in the retro palette, I thought we would be getting the same quality in the pastel palette, and we don't, and it's really frustrating, and they can be kind of patchy, and I really want to love this palette, but I can never get it to work in the way that I want it to. And when I open it and I look at it, I'm like, oh, this would be such a cool like color story to put together. And then as I'm applying it to my face, it's not looking how I want it to look, and then I get frustrated, and then I just don't make content for that day. Question number 9, a palette you love but didn't think you would. And I have 2 actually. And the first one is the ABH Subculture palette. I found it at a TJ Maxx, and I was kind of anticipating it to be trash because the internet had trashed it, but I only spent like $5 on that palette, so I'm like, this is $5 for fun content. And I really do actually enjoy that palette. And then the second one is the Pat McGrath Bridgerton collection, the very first palette. I didn't think that I was personally going to enjoy that palette as much as I did. And I still feel this way. I think Pat McGrath is a very overhyped brand. I don't think, I feel like for that price point, it's not giving me what I expect from that price point, and I could go to indie brands that are a fraction of that price and get even better quality, better performing items from those indie brands. And with how Pat McGrath has kind of been operating her business, I just overhyped. And I don't watch Bridgerton. I don't. But I really wanted to play with that metallic in there, and I heard that the baked formulas were really nice. And for a 6-pan palette, I think that's a really good way to introduce yourself into a brand before buying those really large palettes that a brand will release. And I really do love it, and I pull it out very often. Like, I wear it to work a lot of the time. Question number 10, a palette you wish had a part 2, and that's an easy one for me. I wish that Angie came out with a Club Nebula 2 with Klados. I love the Club Nebula palette, and I feel like it's a really good companion palette. It is a little bit difficult for me to use as like a standalone palette, but I think that's just like my own personal taste and how I like to use the palette. I can use it on its own. I just find that I gravitate more in using it as a companion palette, and I feel like the whole color story that maybe she wanted to tell wasn't quite there. And so I don't know, I feel like if there was a part 1 and a part 2, like, I don't know, I think that would be a really great idea, Angie. If that's what you're working on, no spoilers, I will spend all the money on it. And the last question, question 11, have you decluttered a palette and then regretted it? And I don't think so. I am fairly confident in the things that I have gotten rid of. If anything, I kind of have more regret pulling things into my collection rather than getting rid of some of my palettes. I kind of wish I had some of the like older eyeshadow palettes that I used to use to just kind of like, you know, for the makeup history buff in me, because like I don't know, I didn't, the internet has been around for as long as I've been around, and I feel like there would be more documentation, but I realized that a lot of like online stores didn't really like take place until way later. And sites will take down like old postings, and there isn't really anywhere, like you can go to the Wayback Machine, but if someone didn't keep like have the thought to save it in the Wayback Machine, like it won't be there. And like I don't know, like take the Claydos website, they used to have like mink lashes, they used to sell false lashes, and no one would know. And I mean, like, not that I want to like burn these brands for like, you know, things that they had in their collection prior. It's just like the history of the brand. Like I would like to see like a whole catalog of their stuff. It's like when you look at a whole catalog of like a fashion house, like you see their very early designs, and then like their Renaissance era, and then like their current era, and like it's really cool. Like I don't know, I like that kind of stuff. I watch a lot of content like that on YouTube, where it's like I love the Dead Mall series as well, and I love when you can like I love Dan Bell because he'll find footage of the mall before it was dead, like when it had just opened, and then he will be in the mall as it's dying, and like, you know, you have the side by side. That kind of stuff's pretty cool. But that's what I have, and because Dubs tagged me in her video, I'm gonna tag some content creators in this video as well. So my first one is going to be Makeup and More with Andy. She is killing it with the content on her channel. She's always like posting new stuff, and she does shorts. Like she's a powerhouse. Her content is really fun. I would go check her out. And then the other one is That Dude in Makeup. I found him through Angelica Nevis, and I'm so excited because we have very like similar tastes in makeup, and his channel is very fun, and I would love to hear his thoughts and opinions on this tag as well. And I don't know, if there is another content creator, tag him in the comments down below. I think this is a fun tag, and I like the questions because like they help cater to everybody's individual interests, and there's not a wrong way to answer these. But if you liked hanging out with me today and you would like to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on another video. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.